Alright, we're doing another fucking deep dive because this week I've just been thinking about and like looking at stories and shit about the Goatman because I love me some cryptids, love me some weird, quote unquote unexplainable shit. And, Goatman's just been my outlet this time instead of like Bigfoot or aliens or whatever. So we're gonna dive into the Goatman. So, depending on where you're at in the US, there are different Goatman stories, and there is a Goatman bridge in Denton, Texas. And the story behind that one is actually kind of depressing depending on who you ask. If you ask half of the people, they say that an African American goat farmer got murdered in 1938 and that his ghost haunts the bridge because his body disappeared under mysterious circumstances and shit just ain't been right since. Some people say that his wife haunts the bridge, but in general, if you look up Goatman, you're gonna get recommended Goatman Bridge, and that's what that whole deal is about. It's just a goat farmer who was murdered and things like that. But there's a third version where, everything is dead, blah, blah, like the people die in every story. Like that's something that all three versions have in common, is that someone's fucking dead. But in one version of the story, if you knock 3 times on the trusses of the bridge, you can summon the Goatman. Not the goat farmer, not the goat farmer's wife, a literal fucking goat human thing who will come and cream your buns. So that's fascinating, but it just goes to show the superstition, even in because in the 30s and 40s and 50s and so on, we kind of got this idea that we're done with superstition. We're done. We're good. We're advanced. And then this shit comes along, which just completely throws a wrench in that idea. But I love it. So yeah, Goatman Bridge in Texas. But then if you go further up north into Prince George's County in Maryland, you have an axe-wielding Goatman who just likes to fuck shit up. So, it's pretty fucking neat. The first reported sighting was in August of 1957, and 2 witnesses claimed that they got attacked by it in the Forestville, Upper Marlboro area. So their claim is that they had parked their car, they were congregating, and then they started hearing some shit banging on the hood of their car. They look, and it's a big ass goat dude just beating the fuck out of their car for seemingly no reason. And then they fucked off, and they made the reports, and I think later that night more people came forward saying that they had seen the thing in the area. And from there was the whole the Goatman has an axe, and don't go into wooded areas at night, blah blah blah. And yeah, to this day there are still sightings and faked sightings, which we'll get into a little bit. But yeah, just axe-wielding Goatman up in Maryland who doesn't like it when people fuck in cars, and he also doesn't like it when you're in the woods. And if you are in the woods, and God forbid you're in the woods and fucking in a car, he is going to kill you. So in Utah, in 2012, there was an alleged spotting of a Goatman. I don't want to say it's the Goatman, because, there are, as I've discussed, there's more than one, and there's all kinds of legends all over the country and all over the world of goat people. But 2012, Utah, there was an alleged sighting. And it got so much traction that wildlife authorities had to express concerns. It was fake. Like, it was obviously fake, but the authorities expressed the concern. What exactly is this guy doing in the mountains of North Dakota dressed as a goat among herds of wild goats? They didn't know what the fuck he was doing. They didn't know why the fuck he's doing it. All they knew is that just some dude in a goat costume was running around. Uh, so in July, it looks like, a hiker on Ben Lomond Peak in the mountains, about 40 miles north of Salt Lake City, saw a goat man. And he started taking pictures of it, and he was like, "What the fuck is that?" He didn't know if he was like hallucinating or anything like that. Uh, but he showed the photos to wildlife authorities, and they were like, "Okay, well, these don't look fake. This doesn't look altered. There's no evidence that this is a faked photo." But then shit quickly came out that it's just some fucker in a costume. Uh, but until they discovered that it was fake, they were getting calls and reports of some fucking dude who is dressed up as a goat, and they even got a call, and I'm gonna go ahead and assume it was from the dude dressing as a goat, uh, because the caller said, "Leave Goatman alone. He's done nothing wrong." So there's that. I'm gonna go ahead and claim that it was from the fucker who was dressed up as the goat, because that just makes me happy. Uh, but yeah, it's just all kinds of bullshit was going down, and then it basically came out like, okay, this is 100% just a dude in the costume, and now the concern is, what the fuck is wrong with him? Why is he dressing as a goat and kicking it with wild goats? Because that doesn't make any fucking sense. If you want to dress up as something to try and get some kind of media attention, you're going to do it in a more populated area. This dude was up in a mountain just kicking it with goats. So that tells me there's something else up with him. And I do kind of feel bad for him, but at the same time, it's like, it's just a whole thing. So all these stories basically gave inspiration to more stories, creepypastas, short films. I'm sure somewhere there's books about it, all kinds of shit, right? And currently there is a movie that's being shown at film festivals, as like this year it's been being shown at festivals, and it's supposed to be on streaming services soon, but they haven't announced a specific date yet. It's called The Goatman, and you can find information at www.thegoatmanmovie.com. So I'm excited about that because Goatman to me is such a cool fucking story. Just I don't, and it doesn't matter which Goatman it is, like the one in Texas, the one in Maryland, even the one in Utah. It's all so fucking fascinating because it's literally impossible. Like, assuming, it's to be taken seriously in every case, including the Utah case, it's impossible. It is a goat-human hybrid, but the impossibility of it is part of what makes it so fucking cool to me. Love that type of shit. But yeah, The Goatman, it's coming out soon. And then there's Legend of the Goatman, which is an hour and 9 minutes. That's a 2013 film, which I haven't seen. But lots of short films, too, that are free to watch on, like, YouTube and places like that. And it's also inspired some games. So, yeah, there's one game where you're hunting the goat man. It's a clone of that Bigfoot game that came out where you're in a camper and then you're in the woods and then a thing shows up and it tries to fuck you. So it's just a clone of that, but it's the goat man, so there's more mysticism and shit involved. And there's a bridge in the game which I don't know for certain because I haven't spoken to the people who made the game or designed it or anything like that. But I'm going to go ahead and call it that was inspired by the whole Texas situation with the bridge. I'm just going to go ahead and claim that that's a parallel, and if I'm wrong, and I apologize. But I feel like that's too big of a coincidence to not be intentional. So, yeah. All in all, Goatman is just one of those stories that started off as something simple. It's like, oh, it's a haunted location, it's a cursed location, or there's a boogeyman in the woods, that type of deal. And it just became something else as time went on. It just transformed because now we are in an age where if I want to find information about the Goatman, I don't have to go talk to people who claim to have seen it. I don't have to go to Maryland. I don't have to go to Texas. I don't have to go to Utah. I can just sit on my ass and pull up stories. And that availability of it has just transformed it. There's so much Goatman stuff out. And this kind of makes me sad. It doesn't pop off like a lot of the other horror shit does, when I think it's cooler than a lot of shit that's being pushed forward. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Bigfoot, and I love, other cryptids like Mothman, and, Nessie and Champ, and all those guys. But it's the fucking Goatman. Goatman is where it's at. I am a Goatman apologist. I will always stand up for the Goatman. I don't fucking care how many people the Goatman kills. He's my boy. So, yeah. Just out of appreciation. And there's a bunch of bullshit about the Goatman. Like, really shittily made, poorly written schlock. But I honestly feel like it is worth digging through all of that to find the good shit. Because the good shit about the Goatman is very good. So, I'm going to leave you with that. I'm going to leave you with some encouragement to look up the Goatman. I'm going to give you some encouragement to go to the Goatman Bridge or to go to Prince George County and just try to find this critter and try not to die. I will stand by you if you go on that adventure. I want to go on that adventure. Fuck it, we ball. New thing on the bucket list. I'm going to go find the Goatman.